honestly, this literally came out of nowhere, and rightly so. It's not something that was actually supposed to be meant to be distributed to fans at this early stage. Um, yeah, a lot of different news groups and Facebook groups and obviously fan sites and everything like that have been talking about this latest development for the new Masters of the Universe cartoons, and now we are understanding that there are actually two different cartoons that are being planned by Mattel and Netflix. So I'm a part of adultcollector.org. Big shout out to these guys. They've got some great stuff. The community is amazing. And yeah, it's a lot of fun being part of a place where people are welcome and are able to share their love of the 80s cartoons, toys, everything related to that. But specifically, mostly about He-Man and She-Ra. So, scrolling down here, we see some great, little bites talking about the new events that are coming up, hopefully. And if not, there'll be virtual events as well. But when we scroll down a little bit further, this was, of course, 14 hours ago. And yeah, we see some really cool little news bites that are going to be pretty prevalent in what we're going to be talking about today. So, a few, I guess last year, obviously at PowerCon, Mattel teased us with this new Masterverse Evolution of He-Man line, which is going to be connected to the Kevin Smith Masters of the Universe Revelation series, which is slated to come out either, I believe, late 2021 or possibly early 2022. So, obviously, all He-Man fans, all Masters of the Universe fans are really excited about this. And to support the actual cartoon on Netflix, obviously, Mattel is going to be selling toys based on the series. The only thing we got around that time were these silhouettes. Obviously, we can tell this is He-Man. There's the power sword. He's got two fists, possibly a shield, and, a whole bunch of silhouettes of different characters who may or may not be obvious. I mean, this could be He-Man. This could be, Trapjaw. This could be possibly Triclops. I would imagine that's Evil-lyn. This might be Duncan, Man-at-Arms. That's probably Teela. This is probably Beastman. And this could be any number of different characters. So the suggested retail price is $19.99 US dollars. They're 7-inch scale. Now that's interesting because most action figures these days, the most popular size is 6-inch scale. So now these are 7 inches, a full inch higher, and that in and of itself is rather interesting. It has they're advertising as 30 points of articulation, 8 core characters as you can see here, and more in the Masterverse line for summer of 2021. So. Very exciting news. That happened last year around PowerCon. And, we have a little shot exclusive to PowerCon about some of the packaging designs. Kind of neat. Obviously, these things are not, finalized at this stage. It's very, very early. But we can see this premium packaging. Very exciting stuff. Now, fast forward to today. We're getting some tidbits and some new revelations. And one of the things we really have to keep in mind with this kind of stuff is that these type of things were not really meant for fans or, news groups to really, well, I guess they weren't expecting people to nitpick on it, but the reality is once you release images of a very popular, product, people are going to talk about it. And I'm not sure that this was done intentionally. Perhaps it was. Maybe they're gauging fan interest. But no matter what, it's given us a bit of a taste as to what we can hopefully expect, or something that, people may or may not agree with. But we'll see going forward. So here, now this poster has already been teased for quite some time, I believe. And we can see that this is actually a teaser poster for the second series of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoons, which is going to be a Netflix original series. Now, this one, I believe, is generated for 3D. I believe these are 3D models. And yeah, this is going to be a series much the same as, say, Wreck-It Ralph, or any of the Pixar cartoons. But it's very stylized, and we found more about that today, when in I guess it was it's not an investors meeting, but it definitely was not. Again, it wasn't a press. It wasn't supposed to be something for the press. It was actually more for forecasting what's happening in the Mattel Cinematic Universe, if you will. I guess I'll be calling it that, because right now Mattel has their own television division. So we found out more about the Masters of the Universe Netflix original series, because they actually showed a full screenshot, massive layout here, letting their investors and their, I guess, their board of directors, whoever it is, find out what they're planning for 2021 and 2022 in, of course, the Netflix series. And in this case, we get to see our very first glimpse of the 3D render of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe pivotal characters. Obviously, there's Battle Cat and there's He-Man. So, yeah, there are a lot of mixed reaction to this. Some people are really loving these designs, and some people are just plain, not really too thrilled about it. I mean, let's talk about it a little bit. I actually, you know what? Let's first talk about the new logo. The logo itself is actually really well done. It's stylized. I'm a designer, so this is one of the things that really attracts me. So yeah, it's got some lightning in the middle. Yeah, it's still recognizable as a He-Man property. Kind of harkens back to the second He-Man cartoon, which I didn't really get to watch too often, but the New Adventures of He-Man, if you will. But yeah, definitely harkens back to the newer types of kind of a 2020 update, a 2021 update. I don't mind it. It looks pretty cool. Now, let's get on to this new stylized version of He-Man and Battle Cat. Yeah, a lot of mixed reaction, and it sort of harkens back to the 2000X version of He-Man. At least the armor that Battle Cat is wearing. The fact that he's got armaments on his claws, which he never had before until the 2000X version, right? His mask is very reminiscent of the 2000X version, a little bit more stylized, a little bit more, I don't know, futuristic, if you will. And the other thing that I think Pixel Dan mentioned is that he looks a little thin. I'm not sure about that. I think that might just be, the way he's positioned. I mean, he's definitely been rendered here as if he's really close to the camera. It's got a bit of a fisheye, I think, effect. And yeah, I can't really tell either which way if he's thinner or not. But his upper body looks very, very muscular, and he's actually more reminiscent of a real tiger. Because tigers are actually quite lean; they're not really bulky. You know what I mean? And he's got a new symbol here. I guess that's Grayskull. Just pointing out a few things. And I actually don't really mind this design, but it's not as traditional as I would have liked. But heck, this is possibly not a design that is made for the original fans of the series. The claws seem a bit interesting. It's almost like maybe they'll have transformation powers, maybe they'll actually fire out like rockets, but they do look very, very stylized and very interesting. It seems like he's got almost wings out the side of these gauntlets. Very unusual. And these ones are golden. They have a golden steel metallic look, whereas the rear ones, they're more akin to his original crimson, armament style, very much like the 2000X versions. But let's now draw our attention to He-Man here, and I can only imagine this is He-Man. It's kind of hard to really tell for absolute sure, because obviously this is He-Man in the Masters Universe, but he sort of looks like Prince Adam in this getup. I'm not sure if I'm the only one who thinks that, but it sort of looks like he is. And it's a very low resolution still, obviously, because this is not material that was supposed to be circulated in any regard to news groups and stuff like that, at least not on an official capacity. This is definitely something that was supposed to be made specifically for perhaps an investors meeting or an advisors meeting, as it was called. But we can see a few telltale things which are very, very interesting to note. If we look at He-Man's arms, we actually see that there's some sort of, I don't know if it's a tattoo pattern but basically his arms are glowing. And I'm curious because I'm wondering if that's going to be a feature of the toy that they're eventually going to make. Because if you look carefully, his arms are glowing, his belt buckle is glowing. Again, I'm going to assume this is the symbol of Grayskull. His shin pads and boots are actually glowing. So yeah, as if the power continues to flow through He-Man, even when he's stationary. And we can see that continuing through the Power Sword. The Power Sword is actually glowing as well. We can see that, the sections of the stylized sections of the Power Sword are actually lit up in a very yellow bathing light. It's interesting. Before we go back to He-Man, let's take a look at this Power Sword. You know what? I watched Pixel Dan's take on this, and I sort of have to agree. I was never really a big fan of the 2000X sword. The fact that it transformed, that to me was just a bit over the top, very strange. For me, I love swords. There's something mystical about them. They have this presence. Just standing there as inanimate objects, but then have such a presence in and of themselves. I think this is a little bit over the top. I think it's a little bit over designed. It's got all these cuts in it. I guess it's not really supposed to be used as a sword in that regard. But I mean, again, if you think about what a sword's purpose is to do, it's supposed to be used to fight, A, and B, it's supposed to be used to cut. So obviously, there's a kids' cartoon. The sword is actually more of a blunt force object, so you can slam somebody with it. I imagine that's more what it is. It's kind of like, and because of the overall size of it, I mean, jeez Louise, this thing's literally is bigger than He-Man as far as it goes. It's like a Zweinhander, that Siegfried from Soul Calibur uses, and those were massive swords. So I'm not really in love with it yet. I mean, I can accept it. It looks pretty cool. I'm not going to say it's not cool. It is cool, but as an overall aesthetic design, I don't know. I could have gone with a little bit more simplistic nature for the sword. So now let's get back to the elephant in the room, He-Man. Yeah, I really don't know what to think. He's very stylized. It looks like he's got his harness. You can see that, right? His cross has been replaced with, I don't know what that is. It seems like another sword, and perhaps that's what it is. Perhaps that is the symbol of the sword of Grayskull. It's I don't know if it's made of cordonite. I'm not sure if that's even a thing anymore. Still, it looks very cool. But instead of being a huge buff naked guy, he's actually got some clothes. He's got ripped off arms. What's it called? Sleeveless shirt. It's kind of a muscle shirt. Maybe he lifts, obviously. He's got gauntlets, massive gauntlets this time. Like, they literally cover his entire forearm instead of just being little wristlets. He's got a nice belt and leggings, as well as it looks like a little bit of an overhanging skirt. That's interesting. Yeah. So and his boots are actually all metal. Overall, I don't mind it. He honestly reminds me of the Masters of the Universe minis. He's got this huge, big torso, and he's got little, well, they're not scrawny legs, but they are much smaller than his proportions. And he's just got these massive arms and a really, really small head. So, yeah, it really reminds me of the Masters of the Universe minis. I don't know, maybe that's something that they're actually going to tie into later. It would be kind of cool. Having said that, I'm not really sure if I can make a judgment on this. So far, the design is very interesting. It's very unique. I've never seen a He-Man look like this before. So, yeah, I'm going to reserve judgment just for now because, as Pixel Dan did say on his take on this, sometimes you have to see it in motion. Sometimes you have to see it animated. Because right now it's not really giving me it's not connecting me with me just yet, but I don't mind it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing exactly what this particular property is going to have. It's going to be more kid based. This is definitely aimed at younger children. So I really enjoyed Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that really sort of gave me an idea of what a tween kind of series could be. I don't think that's what's going to happen here. I think it's going to be for slightly younger kids, but I'm still looking forward to seeing it. And it's anything to get more He-Man and Master Universe out on the shelves and back into the public consciousness. I'm all for it. So that leads us now into the main topic that we have here. But still, it's something that I'm very excited for. And again, there's a lot of things that people have to discuss. Actually, before I get to that, just before I get to that, let's have a quick look at the Mega Construx tie-in. Now, this was just probably more of an investor announcement, like I said, advisor's announcement, whatever they like to call it. But yeah, I'm actually kind of excited by this. Legos are really cool. They're very exciting, and Mattel's trying to get into that, really trying to get into that space. The building block space, and they've been doing a pretty good job. I mean, I've collected a few of the sets. I have the Wind Raider. I've got a whole bunch of the different characters from the line. And yeah, I'm actually loving what it is. I'm eventually gonna get Roton, and eventually gonna get Point Dread. But for now, I really have to say, this new take on Battle Cat, I don't know, it's doing something for me. You really have to use your imagination with building blocks and Lego type sets and things like that, and Mega Construx here. And you know what? I really have to say that I think they really did nail this one. It does look like Battle Cat, and again, one still picture is hard to appreciate as much as when you have it in hand. Whenever you have something in hand, it changes your perspective entirely, which is why action figures are the way they are. You can see a picture 100 times, you can see a video 1,000 times, and it's still not going to be that same reaction you get when it's finally in your hands and you're holding it, you're manipulating it, you're having a lot of fun with it. And that's actually what I'm looking at here. My first impression is it's pretty cool. There are some gaps here and there, but that's par for the course for Lego. For building blocks and mega Construx and things like that. But the overall essence of what this is looks pretty good. I am very excited about this. Now, are they going to make a He-Man to accompany this? That I think would be pretty cool. So looking forward to that. I'm very, very much looking forward to this new line of Mega Construx. All right, now that we've gone through that, let's get to the meat and potatoes here. We are going to be talking about the Masters of the Universe Revelations line, right? So this is now, from this, which is, the Masterverse Evolution of He-Man teaser, we have finally come full circle, and we've finally been allowed and really sort of leaked, if you will. This is more of a leak. I consider it a leak because, again, this is more of what this actually was supposed to be, was an advisor's, meeting. And it got out. People obviously were paying very close attention to what was happening here. And it's very exciting that we got these pictures. But it's, if we zoom in here, they're fuzzy. You know what I mean? They're not high-resolution pictures. We can discern many things from these photos. But at the same time, we cannot, we got to take them as is. We can't really take these as final products. These are probably just prototypes, let's be perfectly honest. But having said that, let's go take a little bit of a deeper dive and really sort of analyze what we're seeing here. First of all, the Master Universe Revelations logo, yeah, I'm liking it. It's still reminiscent of the original logo, a little bit more stylized, a little bit sleeker for 2021. Still recognizable as He-Man in the Master Universe. Now, let's take a look at some of the characters here. Let's start off with Skeletor here. Honestly, he's very much reminiscent of the Skeletor we all know and love, or hate, if you will. And he's still got his pretty much all of his signature features here. He's got his hood, he's got his shoulder pads. The motifs are right. The bone cross is correct. He's got a cape, which is more reminiscent of what happened in the 2000X series, but it fits him well, you know. And you know what? We could even, I could even argue that that cape was introduced with Frank Langella's portrayal of Skeletor, you know, giving him a bit more of a regal attitude. And you know what? I actually don't mind it. It seems to complete his look, which is great. You know, he's got his signature, his shorts, you know, tassels included, the belt, his bare legs, the blue skin, you know, his black fingernails, and this one, of course, as is traditional with the original. Well, not the original version of Skeletor, but you know, a lot of the Skeletors moving forward after classics and you know, beyond. He still has his bare feet with shin pads. Again, interesting way for this character to have been portrayed, and like, you know, it's now a tradition. We always have to have a barefoot Skeletor, and in some sort of iteration, and that's amazing. So the other thing that we notice here is he has a shaping staff. That's unique. That's something which is truly harkening back to the original Filmation version. Now, that wasn't part of the original mythos, so this is definitely tying in to the fact that this is part of the Filmation universe. Very, very, very close attention to detail, and I'm really loving the fact that Kevin Smith is right on top of this. He really has done his research, and he knows so much more about the Filmation universe than he's letting on. The Havoc staff, again, the Havoc staff is very stylized. You know, it's very much akin to what we saw in the 2000X version, and I don't mind that. I would, of course, just like most fans, would like to keep the original version from the Filmation cartoon, but you know, it's actually not that bad. Overall, I really do like the way Skeletor looks. His head is a bit small on this frame, but it's something which I think is a design choice right now, and we'll see. Time will tell whether or not this is going to be awesome, or you know, if it's going to end up being a little bit silly. But for now, these are low resolution shots, and we really have to say, you know, I have to say that we got to wait until we see the high resolution images, because it really is hard to see. I can barely tell where his teeth are. Anyway, let's move on. Skeletor looks pretty cool, and I'm so excited to see him in hand. And again, everything when it comes into looking at pictures online, whether you look at pictures or video, once you have these figures in hand, the perspective changes quite a bit. I think you'll agree. All right, before we get to the He-Man and Battle Cat overview, let's scroll over and take a look at this, which has now become one of my favorite looking characters in this reveal. So this is this version of Evil-lyn. And you know what? It's amazing that they chose to showcase her in this actual reveal on this Advisor Showcase. And I have to say, is it just me, guys, or fans of Avatar, The Last Airbender? Come on, seriously. Is she not the spitting image of a waterbender? When I first saw this image, I thought to myself, it's Katara. It's a slightly older version of Katara. I could not believe what I was seeing here. And you know what? I'm almost certain there was a character like this in Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's been so long, I'm probably wrong, but her overall character design is so reminiscent of a water tribe member. Honestly, she's got the blue getup. The actual lines that come down are cyan. Again, the furry top here, very reminiscent of being in the Arctic. You know, her white hair, just crazy. Everything just calls out to being a waterbender. Even her staff with a crystal embedded in it, it sort of reminds me of a waterbending, accessory. The gauntlets that she has, the actual wraps, that is completely, it's so much akin to what a waterbender looks like. I don't know. I'm just harping on that. Maybe it's because I miss Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I'm really excited about this this proposed live-action series that they're talking about. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. She looks great, in my opinion. Everything comes together really well. She's lost most of the original design of Evil-lyn. She actually looks very, very different. As I said, she looks more like a waterbender here. She no longer has bare legs. She's got what looks like pants. Again, much akin to what a waterbender would wear. I really got to get off this waterbending thing. And she's got very plain looking boots. Her overall design is excellent. Again, I'm going to harp on that, and I'm going to not talk about waterbending anymore. But she still has an air of Evil-lyn. Now, she comes with an alternate head, which is more traditional for Evil-lyn. And you know what? When that gets popped on her head, I am almost certain she's going to look perfect. She looks great, in my opinion. I really do like the fact that she still has her, embedded crystals with a skull on the front, the top of her crown. It's just such a classic Evil-lyn look. I love it. She does come with um, her staff, which has the seeing crystal on the top, but it's much longer this time. I can't remember if the 2000X version was longer. I think it was actually quite short. If memory serves, I could be wrong, but yes, it's very much more indicative of a wizard's staff or a sorceress's staff. So very cool that it looks like this. I'm all for it. She comes with two alternate hands, a clasping hand and a more spellcasting hand, it looks like. And for the first time ever, she comes with a satchel. Very interesting. Not really sure what that's about. I mean, like, she's never had a satchel before, but I guess they're trying to root it more into reality, which is awesome. And if we look here, she's got a loop below her belt, so she can carry something else here, which is very interesting. I don't know. Maybe she comes with another accessory that they actually haven't showcased. Maybe that's very, very important. Overall, though, Evil-lyn is one of my favorite designs in this overall reveal. Again, probably because I'm a little biased, I do love Avatar: The Last Airbender, and she reminds me so much of an Airbender. As a matter of fact, if she was 7 inches, if she was a little bit shorter, I probably would be picking up the other Avatar: The Last Airbender figures, and they'd all just have a romp about. But anyway, I'm really rambling now. Let's move on to the main piece. Of course, I'm talking about Battle Cat. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, I am talking about He-Man and Battle Cat. But before we take a look at the most powerful man in the universe, let's have a look at what everyone seems to be griping about a little bit more than everything else. Yeah, here's Battle Cat. And let's just talk about Battle Cat as a whole. On the whole, he looks pretty good. I think that the overall shape of Battle Cat, he's definitely Battle Cat. You can tell it's Battle Cat. He's got the signature crimson mount. He's got his crimson helmet, which we'll get to in a second. His body is more stocky now. His limbs are very, very. If we take a look, I mean, he hasn't been skipping arm day at all, or in this case, he hasn't been skipping leg day ever. He looks mean, and it really comes across in the face. And this, I think, is the biggest gripe that a lot of people have with this particular character at this time. Something. This helmet is very, very stylized. I got to tell you. But is it a good? Is it bad? I guess right now it's all in your own interpretation. But we really have to once again come back to the idea that these are low resolution images, and whenever you get a figure in hand, it really changes your perspective. As I've always said, you can look at 1,000 pictures, you can watch 1,000 videos, but when you have it in hand, everything changes. But let's examine what we're seeing here. The crest on the top of his helmet, it's raised way higher than it's way up there. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, it's not. I mean, it does harken back to Battle Cat, but I don't know if that's necessary. Like, what is the point of that? His head's all the way down here. A bit of an unusual design choice. The eyes, they're amazing. I love the way they've been painted. He really looks like he's staring into your soul, and very reminiscent of the actual Filmation cartoon. But the place that really bugs me is the clasps. these are in the original Battle Cat figure. The whole helmet would secure on really really tightly, and these clasps at the bottom, they really held on to his jawline, mostly because they were trying to disguise the fact that it was just a reuse of the Big Jim Tiger that was a Mattel line way back in the 70s. And they just needed a way to justify the fact that no, it's not a Big Jim toy. It's a brand new toy. It's a Battle Cat for He-Man. It's like, okay, so they slapped they actually created a harness for Battle Cat, and they actually put a helmet on him. But that helmet was secured because if it popped off, hey, look, it's a Big Jim Tiger. But now we have a completely different stylized version of the helmet, and these are now prongs. They literally are standing out there as if they're like horns. Very interesting. And I'm not sure if I'm on board with this. To be perfectly honest with you, it looks like they're as if they're used, like they're going to be used for horns, or impaling somebody, or lifting something up. Like he rams into it and just lifts it up with these prongs. I don't know. The nose piece is very similar to the original. I don't mind that at all. But yeah, I think the real gripe is definitely the prongs and the crest. There's something up with those particular elements. They are way too enhanced. For good or for bad, I'm not 100% sure. But I personally am reserving judgment. It's still very very early. These are prototype characters as far as I'm concerned. And now that we've taken a look at Battle Cat, and one other thing I wanted to mention, uh, his overall look is very good. I really do look. I am curious to see what Krenger's face looks like. I think it would look very interesting. His mouth is a bit small. I'm not sure if I'm digging that either. I wonder if it articulates really well, if it opens up widely. But for now, I can't tell. And it looks like he's got a lot of points of articulation. His head definitely moves. The sockets for his limbs, they look like they move quite a bit. And I think that he can get into a lot of dynamic poses. I am curious if he has a mid rotation. That would be really neat if they actually incorporated that. But I guess time will tell, and we'll find out when the official announcement actually happens. So let's finally move on to the most powerful man in the universe. It is, in fact, the mighty He-Man. Now, let's just take a look at an overall overview. This is 100% He-Man. There's no denying. You cannot mistake this for not being He-Man. He has his signature straps. He's bare-chested. He's got a midriff. He's not skipping arm day. He's not skipping leg day. His core is tight. This is really He-Man. This is 100% He-Man. He's got his signature belt. I love the fact that they've kept that detail in there. I love the fact that he still has his furry loincloth. That's just classic Master of the Universe. Just don't change. Don't change it. It just looks great. He's got his one gauntlet on the left hand, which looks amazing. Looks like there's a bit of a yellow treatment here now, a golden treatment perhaps, much like the belt. He's probably got his smaller wrist gauntlet, which is great. He's got furry boots and straps. Awesome. I think he's got straps. It's hard to tell with such low resolution here. And of course, the power sword, which is much more akin to the classics line. It definitely has that stylized version of it. I would have preferred if the hilt, the grip was actually a bit longer. I think, but I don't mind it. The overall shape of the power sword is very much reminiscent of what I expect. So yeah, I'm okay with it. He doesn't have his Iron Cross anymore. It's been replaced by an H, which is something that they've been doing ever since the 2000X version. So I don't really mind it. The Cordite is still there. Same thing with the Cordite pieces, which go up all the way to the back of the straps. Wonderful. Then we come to the head. And much like Skeletor over here, initially it looks a bit small. And I'm wondering why that is. I think it's a design choice. I'm not sure if I'm loving it yet. I guess we'll have to see. But it is kind of small. And again, the resolution is so poor. It's hard to see whether or not he's got a stoic face, whether or not he's got a bit of a gritty face, or whether or not he's more meek. And Pixel Dad actually sort of mentioned it, that he doesn't like the fact that he looks a bit meek. Maybe we should save that for Prince Adam. But you know what? I'm going to reserve judgment. From if you just take it at where we are here, this is definitely He-Man, 100%. And I'm so glad and so excited that we are going to get a brand new, and in this case, 7-inch figure line. But premium collectible. It's going to be in retail stores. It's not going to be, a MattyCollector.com or Super 7 release where it's going to be, way more expensive than you would have to afford it. I'm hoping it's closer to the $29.99 price point here in Canada, or $19.99 price point in the States, because that would be great. We could start collecting these en masse and really enjoy Masters of the Universe all over again. I have to say that, other than some stylistic changes, I really actually am very impressed at what they're showcasing here. These are prototypes. They are not set in stone just yet, unlike, other prototypes, which turned out to be completely different. But so far, I'm actually very, very interested in pursuing this line. It looks great, in my opinion. We do have a stylization for the Filmation versions. Obviously, Skeletor has bare feet. He-Man is looking a little bit different. Again, these two have slightly smaller heads. Again, not really knowing why. Battle Cat's helmet, yeah, it's a work in progress in my opinion. But I am totally in love with this version of Evil-lyn. Just bring her out already. I'm buying her 100% right away. She looks great. And you know what? Realistically, at this very initial level, I still think they all look great. And I'm really, really looking forward to this new line of Master of the Universe Revelations and this new toy line of... Oh, man, I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. So, guys, what do you think? Does this new line appeal to you? Are you excited for the new Masters of the Universe Revelation cartoon series, which is coming out on Netflix? Has this reveal really excited you? Are you looking forward to purchasing some of these figures, or has it completely missed the mark for you? Are these not what you expected when they announced this line? Were you looking for a little bit more? Were you looking for something which is much more reminiscent of the Filmation cartoon? And does this new reveal sort of make you think twice about the actual Masters of the Universe Revelation series? I want to hear your thoughts. I'd love to get your opinion on what these figures mean to you, and of course, how you feel about the new cartoon series. Guys, please leave comments in the comment section below. I try to get to your comments all the time, and I try to reply back as soon as I can. But every single comment means the world to me, and I really would like to find out what you guys think of this new line. And again, what do you think of the new kids version of Masters of the Universe? And if you collect the Masters of the Universe Mega Construx line, what do you think of this line? But guys, seriously, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really did. This is a really great reveal for me. I'm so looking forward to these figures. Not really too sure about Battle Cat. They have time to fix it. Maybe if we, let them know our feelings at this early stage, maybe they can reconsider what's going on before they go to Tool of Die. But seriously, what do you guys think? Please leave your comments in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like. It really helps me out. If you have any comments or suggestions on anime, cartoons, collectibles, toys, or anything else you'd like me to review, please leave that in the comment section below. And please consider subscribing, as it helps YouTube to realize I'm doing a good job and you guys enjoy my work. Well, guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. Geek proud.